Good morning to everybody. How you doing? Hope all's well. Keep up the beautiful work. Today is Monday, Parashat Yitro, and it's also a wonderful day. It is Tu B'Shvat. As we look outside and it looks like a Shema Yisrael, ground zero, Has v'Halila, all the snow, the trees are barren, not much growing. Well, guess what? Underneath the ground and in the trees, there's a lot happening. There's music happening. There's nutrients going into the trees, all kinds of sugars and saps, etc. And Hashem is getting ready for the summer, for the spring, all the trees to have leaves, all the trees to have its fruits, the fruit trees. And it teaches us a lesson that sometimes in life we think that things are gloomy and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Well, guess what? There is. Hashem is planning already the fruits, planting the leaves, planting the warm weather, even though it looks rough out there, but behind the scenes there's a lot going on. So if somebody is waiting for that salvation, Be'ezrat Hashem, it will come, B'sha'at Tovah, with good things, Be'ezrat Hashem, Yitbarach. We are in the words of the Pele Yoetz, we're in the letter Chet, in the subject of Hashoud, being suspicious. It's not easy because we're from a people who like to give the benefit of the doubt. But sometimes people, unfortunately, when it comes to business and things, you have to have everything documented on paper because you never know. A mistake happens, this happens. I know two people, they were friends, and one did work for him, and he kept saying, how much you want, how much you want? He says, we're friends, don't worry, we'll work it out. And then when they finished at the end, it's a nightmare to society. Unfortunately, one was thinking it was much lower, the one that was the work was done for him, and the guy doing the work thought it was much higher. So everything has to be clear in the beginning of the story. We are in the Hebrew book on page Resh Nun Aleph 251, and in the Hebrew English Art Scroll Volume 2, we are on page 250. Ubeprat em kvar hu chashud. If someone's notorious for doing certain things, unfortunately, then we have to be even more careful. Shehen lamino afilu b'shavua. Some people out there, unfortunately, even with a swear, you cannot believe them. The boy who cried wolf. She'achashud al davar lo dano velo mo'ido. If someone is, unfortunately, known for something, he's not allowed to be a judge and he's not allowed to be a witness. Now the rabbi is telling us also, it's not always so simple to trust everyone with hashgacha. Not that people are bad, of course, everybody's good, but some people don't know better and they think there's nothing wrong. I mean, far away in Never Neverland, there were stories where somebody in a knis, maybe, he saved the Chalav Yisrael milk. In the old days, there were cartons. Today, there's those plastic items. And he would get regular milk and pour it in, believe it or not. So all the Halav Yisrael people are thinking they get, not that he meant vicious. He probably knew that according to some, you're allowed to have regular milk in the United States. So what's the difference? So unfortunately, not everyone is learned, so we have to be careful. But as careful as we are, we also have to do things with wisdom. We have to make sure that we don't hurt somebody's feelings. Some people, in the name of religion, want to be the hero and they'll make someone feel like 2 cents. That's not what Hashem is all about. That's not what the Gedolim are all about. Batya did not correct people when they read improperly, and maybe after a while, after no one's there, not in front of the whole shul, he would go tell them. Sometimes you have people waiting to get the guy just to show that I'm someone who gets somebody, unfortunately. So we have to be careful with people's feelings. Right? Like we said, if you could eat in their house and do it wisely, then do it. And if not, just make up an excuse. You can't just say, I don't trust your hashgacha, you don't dip, you don't this, you don't that. Some people are not careful when it comes to having open wine, and it's not mivushal, and and if a non-Jew touches it and they serve it, it's not kosher. And we spoke about this over the weekend a number of times, that it's Tu B'Shvat and there's a lot of fruits we're eating, but believe it or not, before you eat a date, you have to open the date and check it out, and you gotta look at it. And if women go to classes, right? Some classes they're extra fanatic, so we have to go to someone who does the actual halacha. But you have to check figs as well, whether they're raw figs or whether they're dry figs. We said blueberries have to be washed very nicely, and raspberries and blackberries are almost impossible to clean, probably impossible to clean. That's why you'll never see them by a caterer fair, that the caterer has a hashgacha. The hashgachot do not allow raspberries and blackberries. However, in smoothies there are leniencies if you crush it up, etc. That's why our stores still sell them. If they're not kosher totally, then how could a Jew sell these items? Therefore, they're allowed in certain ways, and also strawberries have to be cleaned very properly as well. Recommended, there are apps, etc. There were certain vinegars that had bugs back then. Thank God we don't have that problem. Obirakot, cauliflower, broccoli, all kinds of leaves, etc. All those things have bugs, and you got to check them. I remember seeing a little video that they have on broccoli. For every pound of broccoli or something like that, there's over 60 bugs, and that's after the farmers come clean it all out. They have these vacuums on these trucks that the vacuums go on the sides, and it goes over the broccoli and it sucks out 1,000,000 miles an hour, and even after that there's 60 bugs. Imagine. So broccoli is very, very also infested. That's why you have to be careful. That's why some of these stores that sell it frozen, they're all chopped up because they go through all kinds of processes to make it permissible to eat. Sometimes you have people touching eckels and they didn't wash yadayim. Chelev, we don't have a problem today. Chelev are certain fats that aren't kosher on certain meats. And the reason why we don't have the problem today is because the butchers have hashgachas and the butchers remove it all. But meat and dairy, not everyone is so learned. Or basar b'halav, or shmirat Shabbat. Like I told you last time, unfortunately in Wisconsin, there was someone told the housekeeper plug in the toaster, and once the toaster is plugged in, then they thought they're allowed to cook. Things that were raw, if it's already cooked, then of course there's leniencies, which we'll talk about another time. But if it's raw and Jew puts it in there, it's literally cooking on Shabbat, which is a sin from the Torah. So we have to be careful with all these things. Not everything could you heat up via a non-Jew. We'll continue the laws of Shabbat as well, Be'ezrat Hashem, and we'll continue the words of the Pele Yoetz tomorrow. I hope everyone has the greatest Tu B'Shvat and the greatest day. Take care, all the best, be safe, stay warm. Hashem Shawach, everyone. Take care. Bye.